Hi, I'm about to do my warm-up routine created specifically for my Tai Chi mobility and balance classes. I created this warm-up routine to address the needs of the aging older adult. I hope you'll join me in trying these exercises, and if you like them, I challenge you to do them every day for an entire month and see how you feel and move at the end of that month. Let's begin with waist rotations. Bring your feet together, stand up nice and tall, and place the palms of the hands on the back at waist level. This should cover the kidneys. If you have trouble with your shoulders and can't place the palms of the hands against the back, you can use your fists or the back of your hands. Imagine a pole running from the head through the body, out the crotch, onto the floor between the feet. And turn your body in a clockwise circular motion around the pole, keeping the head and feet as still as possible. Everything between the neck and ankles moves in a circle around the pole. Do 10 to 20 of these. And then stop and massage over the kidney area on the back, making circles with your fingers. Now we're going to go counterclockwise. Again, 10 to 20 times. Good. Now we're going to step apart so that your feet are about shoulders width. The middle finger will be placed on an acupuncture point designated as gallbladder 30, 环条 point. This is in the cheek of your buttock, deep in the ball and socket joint of the hip. You can find this point by moving your leg and noticing where the head of the femur joins the pelvis. Place the palms of the hands against the body with the fingertips at gallbladder 30. Just like before, you're going to keep the heads and feet still and move the hips in a clockwise circle. These are called hip rotations. 10 to 20 times, trying to keep the distance that you go forward and back equal to the distance you go side to side. Come back to the center and massage the 环条 point with the fingertips, pressing and wiggling up and down. Then place the hands on the low back and rub up and down, stimulating and massaging the urinary bladder meridian points on the back. Return the hands to the position on the sides with the fingertips at gallbladder 30 and move in a counterclockwise direction. Again, for 10 to 20 repetitions, making sure you're doing an even circle, front to back, side to side. Be mindful of the movement so that moving does not pull you off balance. You want to remain centered. Come back to center and bring the feet together. Now, we're going to do knee and ankle rotations, and I'm going to show you 3 different methods. The first traditional one is going to be done standing up and bending over. Rub the hands, massage in front and behind the knee. You can even use the fingertips to dig in to the acupressure points behind the knee, the crease, and all around the patella. Let's do the other side. All right. So for the first version of knee and ankle rotations, I'm going to remain standing with the heels staying on the ground and the feet together. The hands will lightly cover the knees. Remember, don't press or put pressure. I'm going to bend and straighten the knees, going in a slightly circular motion, down to the right and up to the left. We do 10 of these. And then massage going down the inside and up the outside in a circular motion over the knees. Then we're going to reverse, bending, going to the left and up, and down on the right. Now you may hear a little bit of crackling and creaking in the knees as you bend and straighten. It's okay as long as you're not feeling pain. If you feel pain, stop immediately. Let's come back to center and massage up the inside and down the outside. Now, if you do feel pain in the knee doing those exercises, I'm going to show you 2 other versions that you can try. So we're going to need a chair. And I'm going to sit down near the front half of the chair. Place your feet together. Put the hands on the knees as before. And again, don't press, just cover lightly. You're going to lift and lower the heels, coming onto the ball of the foot. And notice how I'm going first one direction, as if the knees were making a circle, about 10 times. And then I'm going to reverse and go the other way. Now this exercise doesn't do anything for the knees unless you're giving chi to the knees by having the hands over them and warming them, but it is more for the ankle. Good. So for the next version of knee and ankle rotation, it will do something for the knee joint. You're going to go ahead and keep one hand on the knee, lift the foot off the floor, and imagine drawing a circle, first clockwise, about 10 times in one direction, and then counterclockwise for 10. You can feel the knee rotating as the entire lower leg circles. Let's switch sides. Keep the thigh, knee, arm, and hand still. Only the lower leg, the entire calf and foot, circles. First one way, and then the other way. About 10 times in each direction. And you can massage the knees, first one direction, and then the other direction. So choose which of these knee and ankle rotations works best for you and is appropriate for your physical ability and balance. I'm going to put the chair aside for now. We need it in just a little bit. After knee and ankle rotations, we're going to do a side stretch. So I'm going to step apart. Feet should be at least shoulders wide, maybe wider. And I'm going to go ahead and reach up with one arm. On this side stretch, I want to reach and lift the rib cage up as I breathe in and take the other hand across the body and stretch to the side and exhale. Coming back to the center, repeating, reaching up and inhaling, exhaling and stretching, And make sure both fingertips are being pulled in opposite directions. One towards the upper corner, one down towards the floor. Do these about 5 times. And then switch. Inhale and lift. Exhale and stretch to the side. Back to center. Breathing in. Breathing out. Make sure you're reaching and imagine pulling with the fingertips, opposite direction. Good. The next exercise we're going to do is to stretch the back of the legs, ligaments, tendons, and muscles. The reason stretching the back of the legs is really important is over time, without stretching, these ligaments, muscles, and tendons tend to contract and shorten and get very tight and stiff. And this won't help with your mobility and balance. So you want to stretch to keep them elongated, loose, and flexible. I'm going to use the chair to show you how I do this safely for people who have some stability issues. Face the chair, bring your feet together, and then fold from the hip joint. Keeping your back flat if you can, reach your hands out, placing the palms on the chair seat. Now, if you can go lower, bend the elbows and allow the head to come down. Now, if the chair is too far, you can bring it closer. If it's too close and you're going to hit your forehead, make sure you push it away. Try to keep the back flat. Think of pushing the sits bones up towards the ceiling. And just hang, breathe, and feel that pulling sensation that's in the back of the legs. Make sure you do not bend the knees or you will not be stretching properly. So keep those knees straight. Do not lock them out, which means hyperextend. Do not hyperextend. Now we're going to do an active stretch. So I'm going to bring my head about halfway up, and then I'm going to lower and raise, lower and raise. And we do about 10. Up and down, slowly, with control. Do not move quickly. Do not bounce up and down. Good. Now we're going to massage and slap the backs of the legs. Hands at gallbladder 30, rub down. Only in the downward direction, 5 times, and then 5 sets of slapping. All right, bend your knees, drop your butt down, and yes, you can use the chair to help you come back upward. The massaging and slapping helps to stimulate the meridians and blood vessels that are in the back of the legs. So after stretching, bringing more qi, vital energy, and more blood to that area will keep that area from suffering any soreness afterwards. So it helps to dissipate the lactic acid, and as I said, it just brings more blood, more oxygen, more qi to that area to get the biggest benefit and to suffer the least consequences from stretching. Always make sure that you stay within your range of stretching. You don't overdo. A little bit goes a long way. The next stretch we're going to do is also for the back of the legs to keep them long, loose, and flexible. So this is called chin to toe. So we're going to do the chin to toe stretch with a chair. And again, this is to make sure that you are safe and you stay balanced. So again, facing the seat of the chair, I'm going to prop my foot up against the leg of the chair. So I'm starting with my right leg, heel down, toes up against against the chair leg. And then I'm going to fold forward from the hips, just like the forward bend. Reach out, use your hands on the seat of the chair. If you can get lower, bend the elbows. I always like to do a passive stretch first. So I'm just going to hang here, feeling that pulling sensation in the back of the leg. And you can massage and rub the places that feel tight. The next thing I'm going to do is the active stretch. So I'm going to come about halfway up, and I'm simply going to lower and raise. As I go lower, I feel the pulling sensation increase. As I raise my head up, it decreases. So this is a dynamic stretch. And we do about 10 of these. Now we're going to massage and slap just as we did after the forward bend. Now, if you wish, you can sit down to do this. We're going to massage or rub on the outside of the leg going down with one hand. Then I'm going to switch hands and rub on the inside coming up. So down the outside, up the inside. And I'm going to do 5 sets of these. And then I'm going to clap with the leg in between. On both sides of the legs, going only down. Again, 5 sets. Now I'm going to switch. And before I change, I'm going to ask you to notice how the 2 legs feel different right now. So for me, the leg that I just stretched and massaged feels very tingly. It feels very light. And the other leg that I haven't stretched yet just kind of feels, eh. So I'm going to catch this leg up to the other one. I want it to feel tingly and alive. So propping up the toes, heel down against the chair leg, folding forward from the hips with a flat back if you can, placing the hands on the chair, and I'm just lowering myself until I can feel that stretch. I feel a pulling sensation on the back of the leg. And as before, if you feel tightness or pulling somewhere, you can massage that area a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the dynamic stretch. So I'm going to come up about halfway and then lower. A nice, controlled, active stretch. Not too fast. I want to stay within my range of motion. But I do want to feel that pulling sensation sufficiently to know that I am stretching. Make sure you're breathing as you do this. Don't hold your breath. All right, now we're going to do the rubbing and slapping. So again, one hand rubs down the outside. The other hand pulls up the inside. 5 times. And then slapping. And making sure I'm going down the leg on the claps. All right, so that is our modified chin to toe stretch. Now, if you can do the chin to toe stretch without the chair, that's great. Then go ahead and do it. It would look something like this. You can lace the fingers and circle the palms, or if you're very flexible, you can even fold at the elbows and circle. After our chin to toe stretch, we're going to be working on the upper body. So we're going to start with our shoulders. This is called hugging slaps. I'm going to stand with my feet together and make sure you're standing up nice and tall whenever you're standing up straight. I'm going to bring my arms out to the sides and keeping them up at chest-shoulder level. Do not let them drop down to the waist. As you do this, I'm simply going to hug myself, slapping with one hand on the outside of the shoulder. This is Jian Yu, large intestine 15, and on the other side, underneath, at the base of the shoulder blade, Qian Zhen, small intestine 9. Now I'm going to alternate which hand is on top. And we do about 10 of these. Now we're going to do a shoulder rotation. And this exercise is great if you have frozen shoulder issues. I'm going to stand sideways, placing my left foot in the front, my right foot back. My front foot points straight forward, while my back foot points about 45 degrees to the corner. I'm going to sink the hips, bending the knees. Place the hand corresponding to the front leg on top of the thigh. So the fingers are on the inside and the thumb is on the outside. I'm going to look in the direction of the forward foot, and it's the back arm that's going to turn from the shoulder. Bring the thumb forward and up. Do about 10 of these. If you can, brush the ear with the upper arm as it swings by. Then reverse. Now, if you do have shoulder issues and limited range of motion, you will not be able to brush the ear as your arm goes by, and you may need to make a much smaller circle, and you may experience a little bit of discomfort as you do this. Take your time, do not swing the arm too rapidly, and eventually, depending on what your shoulder issue is, you may find that this exercise helps to relieve your shoulder pain, especially if it's due to frozen shoulder. If there's some other issue there in your shoulder, it may not help. In fact, it may be deleterious. So do be careful. When you feel pain doing any of these exercises, stop. Okay, I've turned on my heels so that my right foot's leading now. I'm going to take the hand corresponding to the front leg, turn it, placing the palm on the thigh, fingers to the inside, thumb to the outside, and I'm going to turn the back arm. Thumb coming forward and up, about 10 times. Remember to look in the direction of your front foot and try to keep the torso from moving. Now I'm going to reverse. Little finger chopping down. Excellent. Now we're coming to the part where we're doing some acupressure massages. So I'm going to begin by massaging the kidneys. And yes, I know we did that already when we did our first exercise of waist rotations. Now I'm going to massage a point on the side of the ribs called Da Bao. This is spleen 21. And I'm going to pull the hands up as high as I can and pull the elbows back so that the heels of the hands are massaging Da Bao. This is good for relieving general aching and weakness. So if you're feeling tired or run down, this is a good massage to do, to perk you up. The Da Bao point is about 8 finger widths. Make sure that the fingers are touching from the axilla. Right about here. The next massage we're going to do is for the lower lymph. I'm going to take my hands right here just above the groin area and massage. This benefits your immune system. Excellent. The next one we're going to do is a chest massage. And the way that we're going to do this is we're going to cradle the chi. And what that means is I'm going to take one hand, palm up, curled like this with the fingers separated. And I'm going to take my other hand, reach across the chest and massage. Then I'm going to switch. This benefits your heart and lungs. The next acupressure massage we're going to do is on the arms. You have 3 yin and 3 yang meridians that run down each and up each arm. So we're going to do the yang side of the arm first. Palm down. You're going to take your hand, start at the fingertips, and pull up to the shoulder. About 10 times. And then you're going to turn the hand over for the yin side, and you're going to go in the opposite direction, down, from the shoulder to the fingertips. And of course, we're going to do the other arm. Up the yang side, and down the yin side. Make sure on those that you start at the fingertips, not at the wrist, and you go all the way past the fingertips when you're going down the yin side. Don't stop at the wrist. The next massage we're going to do is on the hands. So remember those 3 yin and 3 yang meridians that I talked about that are in the arms? So this is going to further stimulate those meridians, making sure that there's a lot of qi, vital energy, and blood going all the way down to the fingertips and back up. So let's start by taking your thumb and placing it on what's called the Lao Gong point. Now to find the Lao Gong point, take your palm, make a fist, and notice where the middle finger is touching. It should be on the palm between your index finger and your middle finger. Meantime, the index finger will touch on the back of the hand directly opposite of where the thumb is touching. So this is called the Lao Gong point, pericardium 8, and the Y Lao Gong on the back of the hand. You're going to begin by simply massaging, putting a little pressure between the thumb and index finger and wiggling it around. And this is going to bring some qi and blood into the palm and to the Lao Gong point. Then you're going to spread that qi and blood using your thumb to push out to the tip of the thumb and stretch it back. So each time you're going to return to the Lao Gong point in the center of the palm and massage and wiggle your way out to the fingertip and stretch it back. Each digit, one at a time. I'm going to do the other hand now, starting at the Lao Gong and Y Lao Gong. I'm going to just massage a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and begin with the thumb massaging out to the lung meridian. Center of the palm, massaging out to large intestine meridian. Middle finger, pericardium meridian. Ring finger, triple warmer, triple heater, or sanjiao. And finally, the pinky. And the little finger gets 2 meridians, the heart meridian on the inside and the small intestine meridian on the outside. Let's go ahead and shake out those hands. Now we're going to rub the neck. So I'm going to take my hand and hold the back of the head. And this isn't because I'm afraid I'm going to take my head off my neck. It's just to make sure that you bring awareness to not tilting the head as you do this. So keep your head upright, take the other hand and massage the back and side of the neck, rubbing vigorously to get some warmth, about 10 times. And then switch to do the other side. The next one is for the front of the neck. Just like before, I'm going to cradle the chi, fingers separated, gently straighten, rounded arm. You're going to take this part of the hand between the index finger and thumb on what is we normally call the back of the hand, and we're going to use this against the neck and pull up. Moving across about 10 times, get to the other side, and come back. Another 10. Start at the base of the neck and pull all the way up to the jawline, and then switch. And come back. All right, so I'm making a motion like this, which I believe is supination of the forearm, in order to pull from the base of the neck all the way up the throat to the jaw. The next acupressure massage we're going to do is around the mouth. You have about 7 meridians that encircle the mouth area. You're going to be massaging using 2 fingers like a V, cradling the chi, and rubbing above and below the lips, back and forth. And switch. About 10 times. The next one we're going to do is a whole body massage. So fingers on the back of the ear, thumbs on the front. And you're going to be pinching, rolling, and gently pulling the ear out away from the head, making your way from the top of the ear down to the earlobe. And you can do it back and forth, up and down a few times. Then you're going to take the pad of the finger and you're going to follow the grooves and channels on the outer ear, and make sure you do get the ridges as well. And the reason this is a whole body massage is because the ear has reflex points that map out to every part of the body and the internal organs. All right, the next thing we're going to do is called Drums of Heaven. And this is a tapping on the back of the head. So take the palms of your hands and cover the ears lightly. Don't press in, and tap very firmly on the back of the head. Okay, the last of our acupressure massages is going to be called Wash Face, Comb Hair. And in this exercise, we're going to use our mind, our ability to think and send energy and intention into the face and into the brain. So take your hands, fingers apart from their neighbors, gently straightened, not too taut, but not too limp, just right. Bring the hands 6 to 8 inches apart in front of the chest. Touch the tongue lightly to the upper palate and close the lips. Take a moment to settle and use your mind to think of building up an energy ball between the hands. Then turn the palms to face you and lift the hands without touching the face, up the front of the face, keeping your elbows close. When you get to the top of the head, let the elbows come out the sides, down the back of the head and the sides of the neck. Now, we're going to flick the hands from the wrists gently the first 3 times that we make a pass. And this is a just in case precaution. If there's any sickness chi, we can throw that off. And now after the first 3 passes, we're going to go ahead and send the chi into the head, into the brain, to clear up any brain fog, help with improving memory and concentration. We're also sending it into the eyes, ears, nose, and throat to build up our immunity. And clear up any issues we have in those areas. It's also good for the skin and hair. All right, so about 10 passes total. Now we're going to move on to our balance challenges. So I'm going to go ahead and stand over by the wall. And this is just a precaution. In case I start feeling a little bit unbalanced or tippy, I want to make sure there's something very solid here that I can use to steady myself. Try not to use something like a lightweight chair, because if you're truly losing your balance and falling over, this is only going to add insult to injury by falling on top of you when you hit the ground. So use something a lot more stable. The back of a sofa, the dining table, a countertop. I'm going to use my fireplace mantle. So the first exercise we're going to do, I call toe touch. I'm going to shift the weight over to the side that's closer to my support, and I'm going to empty the weight from the outside leg. So I'm going to bend the knee forward, letting the heel come up, and before I pick it up, I'm going to just sense, do I feel pressure on those toes, or is it just a very light sense of touching the floor? So if it's a light sense of touching the floor, then you know this is an empty, unweighted foot. You can bring it to the front and back to the center. You can take it to the side and back to the center. And you can take it to the rear and back to the center. So this is the toe touch exercise. Make sure that you do not move the body when you do this, because that's cheating. That is not keeping the weight in one leg. So it should look like this. All right, I'm going to turn around so I can do the other leg. Again, the leg that I'm going to stand on is moving closer towards support. The outside leg, which is further from my support, is the one that I'm going to empty. Bend the knee and let the heel come up. And then when you're ready, you feel just a sense of touch, no pressure on those toes. You can move them front, side, and center. Go slowly enough that you have control and you can notice if you're about to shift the weight. You want to keep the weight, again, only on one leg, the one that's stationary. And you can do about 5 repetitions of this. All right, so that's the toe touch. The next balance challenge is actually a little more difficult and a little more challenging, because we're going to stand on one leg. So I'm going to go back to this direction, shift the weight closer to my wall, my support, bend the outside knee, letting the heel come up. And now, when I feel just a sense of touch, no pressure, I'm going to let the toe come off the ground by lifting from the thigh, lift the knee, and you might only come to 2 or 3 inches off the floor. If you're able to, you can bring the knee up higher. And if you're able to, you can even put the fingers underneath the thigh and lift up higher. Just make sure that whatever level you're working at, you're maintaining your balance. It's okay if you wobble. You're not holding your breath, so make sure you're breathing continuously. And whatever you do, do not clench your jaw and your teeth. Let's go ahead and lower the leg, and again, try not to drop it and fall upon it. Lower it until you feel the floor touching, and then the heel and the whole foot, and then shift the weight. When you turn around, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Shift the weight towards your wall or your table or your support. Bend the knee on the outside leg, letting the heel come up. Pause a moment. Check for just a sense of touch, not pressure. make sure it's an unweighted leg that you're lifting. And bring the foot up, toes off the floor 2 to 3 inches. If you're able to, bring it higher. And those of you who can actually bring your fingertips underneath the thigh and lift up even higher. Breathe, look straight ahead, and don't clench. Slowly lower the foot. Let the toe touch first, then let the heel touch, and then shift away. This concludes the warm-up routine for Tai Chi mobility and balance.